Your two favorite large burly men in green, Masterchief and the Doomslayer. Now, online, there's a question of who would win, but this question hasn't been answered since like 2010, so today I'm going to be taking a better look at it. In an actual fight, who would win? To get a better understanding of everything that's happening here, we first need to take a look at the characters' backgrounds, so I'll start with the Master Chief. Master Chief, known as John 117, was conscripted, kidnapped at age 7 to the Spartan 2 program and subsequently brainwashed, trained, to be the very best. He survived the Mjolnir procedure, making an already buff kid even more buff with better reflexes, and paired with his armor, he's basically unkillable, surviving even the most ridiculous of situations. Over the course of about a decade, John 117 skyrocketed to be the leader of the Spartans, won every medal, kicked Covenant and Flood ass to high hell, and is understandably considered a badass. The Doomslayer, name never really specified, was a Marine sent to Mars when he refused to commit war crimes. And while he's there, demons invade and mercilessly slaughter everyone except him. The Doomslayer is understandably like, hey, what the fuck, and fights his way back to Earth. He then makes hell his bitch, stays in hell to make hell his bitch, before being plugged into a divinity machine, and then spends thousands of years in hell killing mercilessly. Now, for the matchup, I'll be considering speed, strength, additional powers, and gears, so let's just dive right into it. For the Master Chief, the top speed, normally Chief runs sort of around 30 to 40 miles per hour, but when desperate, Chief can hit 65 miles per hour. Unfortunately, his body can't handle this strain for very long, and it will lead to serious injury. Maximum lift. Without his armor, John can lift about 870 pounds, and with armor, about a ton. Side note, this is lore, not gameplay. He can't canonically lift tanks and shit. Additional powers. In lore, Chief has insane luck. So lucky that he could accurately guess what side a coin would land on almost 100% of the time. And lastly, for the Master Chief's gear, he has the Mjolnir 5 armor, which basically works as an enhancer for Chief, making him stronger and faster. It also has regenerating shields, which is a useful tool. As for weapons, the Chief basically has whatever is thrown at him. Now for the Doomslayer. The Doomslayer's top speed is harder to gauge, because there's no books, but in-game he casually reaches 75 miles per hour while bogged down with about a half a ton of gear. So we'll stick to 57 miles per hour as top speed, but it's absolutely likely the Slayer can run faster. Now for the maximum lift, this one is even harder to get because the Slayer never really lifts. But in the opening scene of Doom 2016, to break the shackle on his arm, his bicep would have to curl about 18,000 pounds. Keep in mind, in 2016, the Slayer is suffering from severe muscle atrophy, and his biceps fucking tripled in Eternal. Even basing this on 2016 strength, which I will be doing because it's the only one I can find a number for, the Slayer wins here. As for the Slayer's additional powers, because of his godhood, he's nearly unkillable, and he absorbs the power and the souls of those he kills, so the more he kills, the stronger he gets. Not lore, so not accounted for in the fight, but he can survive the vacuum of space in-game, and I felt that was worth noting. Lastly, we have gear. Lore-accurate Slayer uses a super shotgun with a grappling hook attached to it, a sword made of Argent energy, and his fists for weapons. His Praetor suit is basically impenetrable to human constructs, allows him to dash larger distances, maneuver in the air, and survive falls from large heights. Paired with the charged punch, capable of blasting demons apart, and a built-in grenade launcher / flamethrower, the armor itself is a weapon. Now, finally, at last, we have the matchup. In a fight, the Slayer wins. No contest. The Slayer is stronger and faster and has better armor. Yes, the Master Chief does have luck and he is cool, but no amount of luck can save you from Rage Incarnate. I don't think the Chief would stand a chance in the slightest. Luckily, their motivations and characters are relatively similar, so I doubt they would fight in an actual situation like this. But if they did, the Chief is super dead, and that's a final verdict on it. You disagree? Tell me why in the comments. But now that we're at the end of the video, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing or leaving a like. It's free and helps me reach my dreams. Have a wonderful time. Memento Mori.